Fabric is really hard to paint, and in this video I'm going to try and paint it well. Let's give it a try. So today I'm going to be painting up these two models here. Now I got these down in UK Games Expo from the Exit 23 Games stand. I bought the 3 Turbo Dog paints whilst I was down there, and these were just a freebie from the guys there, so thank you very much to Exit 23 Games. Now this is Rose and the Sculptor, and I've had a little look through the Exit 23 Games website, and they don't seem to be tied or affiliated to any specific game system, so they're not actually affiliated with any specific game, so for example Blood Bowl or 40k or anything like that. Now as you can see on screen now, they are metal miniatures, so they're traditionally poured metal miniatures, and the aim of today's video is to specifically look at fabric, specifically how to paint fabric. This is something that's been quite a challenge for me with the test models that I've been doing for the Deathwing, on the capes and that sort of thing, and the loincloth that a few of them have. So I thought, what better way to test out different techniques than to actually paint up some different miniatures that are not necessarily within the 40k universe, but still have a bit of fun whilst doing so. So where we're at so far, I have put the models on the base. I've done just a generic base with, I think this is just a mixed sand that I use from Element Games, and then I've primed it as well with Chaos Black. Now I'm trying to get rid of the rest of my Chaos Black so I can move on to Colour Forge's Matte Black, because that actually sits a lot more flush on the miniature. But anyway, I digress. Let's jump into, should we do Rose first? Yeah, let's do Rose first. Let's do it. Now, before we jump into this video, I'm just going to pay homage to the person who kind of inspired this technique. So Trovarion, who's many of you may know, he's quite a pillar within the community. He's quite a highly decorated and high award-winning painter. And one of the videos that I've been using as a point of research within my strive to paint my Deathwing as best as I can, I pulled quite a bit of inspiration for what you're about to see from his painting tutorial on how to paint Space Marines. Now today I'm going to be using a stippling technique, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a little bit, but it adds texture and it adds depth to colour within the miniature itself, and I think on a fabric that really will help bring out the actual definition of fabric versus the definition of armour. So again, that is a video by Trovarion. I'll put a screenshot of the actual video that I'm referring to here. He applies this technique to armour, so pauldrons and chest plates and that sort of thing for Space Marines. However, I'm adopting it to do it on fabric because I think, as I've said, the actual texture of layering up various different, stippling layers and different gradients of colour, I think will lend itself quite nicely to an overall finished effect for the fabric. So anyway, thank you to Trovarion for making that video first and foremost, and thank you for providing that inspiration as well, be it intentional or unintentional, and I hope that I do it justice. So let's jump into it. So the technique is pretty simple. You get a kitchen sponge such as this and you tear little chunks off. Now I've already done a couple of chunks here, however your mileage may vary on this. Just chunk off what you feel is going to be right. Now, what I'm finding is going to be the best bet for me is using some needlepoint tweezers. Now, I got these from AK Interactive. It was actually at the AK stand again down at UK Games Expo. So, funnily enough, we're using quite a lot of the stuff from UK Games Expo today. But anyway, so all you would really do is get your get your needlepoint tweezers and bunch up just like that, creating a ball. Now I've already torn little bits here And all I'm going to be doing is dabbing that into the paint and then dabbing that over the areas. Now today I'm going to be doing a purple and gold gilt cloak, so it's going to be relatively purple all the way through. I'm going to go from a Nagaroth Night through to a Xerneas purple with some very bright tones of Screamer pink, and I'm actually going to do a wet blend of all three at one stage, but then also I'm going to ensure that I'm stippling heavily enough to ensure a bit of texture, because obviously this is meant to be a cloak. Now obviously this is quite a large sponge that I've balled up here, so I'm going to be probably using the other sponge that I've made here, which is just a little bit smaller, and I'll be pinching that a little bit closer together, and that'll give me the look. Now as you can see, the bubbles on the sponge itself are quite fine, so when applying it to the back of the miniature I am going to be getting a nice even texture throughout. However, it's going to be random and stippled. Now obviously I'm not going to do the entire model with sponge. I'll be doing obviously the face and the hair and probably the boots as well with brush, but outside of that, for the most part, I'm just going to crack on and stipple on. I'm going to go from a dark, which is obviously the black, through to the light, which is the Screamer pink, and basically just work it up from there. It's a pretty simple technique when you do it, but let's see how it gets on. Well, I absolutely love this. This really works. So all I've done is I've gone through from the Nagaroth Night, through into the Xerneas purple, then into Screamer pink, and I've stippled it on. And as you can see, the effect is amazing. Like, it's absolutely brilliant. It hasn't added as much texture as I would have liked. However, because I'm stippling and I'm not brushing, it's actually allowed the paint to land on the model in sort of a random and unstylized fashion, meaning that it's not uniform and it's actually landed really nicely, and it doesn't look solid, if that makes sense. It looks a lot more fluid. And obviously I've caught the outer edges with the Screamer pink, but overall that's an amazing effect. I'm really, really pleased with that. I think the rest of it's just going to be a case of touch up work genuinely with a brush. I'm going to do the legs separately, but I think I'm probably going to do them with a brush because they're pretty much straight leg and also they have pinstripes. But outside of that, that's an amazing effect. I absolutely love this. This is really turned out well. She's done. Rose is finished, and honestly, it's beautiful. I absolutely love the effect of the stippling on this leather jacket. Sincerely, it's probably the best I've done with material, so with like with a fabric material. Now, obviously, I think this is more leather than fabric, but still, I think it looks absolutely amazing the way that it's actually, panned out in the end. The Nagaroth Night is the base, then stippled up into the Xerneas purple, then stippled up finally with the Screamer pink. It's added a little bit of texture in the sense of obviously it has been stippled as opposed to being brushed, so it's not going to be smooth. So it does give that bit of a thicker hide or a thicker leather look. The gold gilding is just Retribute Rama, and I think there is a learning point there for me, and I'll come back to that in a moment. For the rest of the model itself, the leather areas, so the boots, the belt, the shoulder pauldron, and the gauntlets, I've again, just used Rhinox hide. I've just used Rhinox hide proper, no dull down with washes or anything like that. I've just used it simply as a colour, and it's really worked out nicely. For the silver areas, so for the two blades on each gauntlet, and then also on the belt buckle, I've used the Stormhorse Silver. And then for the hair was a bit of an interesting one. I wanted to go for a bit of a dirty green. So I went in with Plaguebearer Flesh Contrast. Then I brought it up using a moot green dry brush, and that just worked out perfectly. Now for the flesh, I've used Kislev Flesh. Then I've gone into Reekland Flesh Shade, and then I've brought it back up with just a little bit of a highlight step of the Kislev Flesh. And then for the eyes, I've just done a simple dot of the Corax White, and then just a dot of black. Outside of that, the model's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Oh, and for the base, really, really simple. I went in with Gothor Brown, then brought that down with Agrax Earthshade, and then for the rocks, I just simply did a Dawnstone, and then brought that down with the Nuln Oil, just to give the rocks that little bit of a bit more dimension. So I think that's going to be it for this video, if I'm honest with you guys. I do want to paint the sculptor. However, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I'm not too well. Halfway through this paint job, I had to take a little bit of a pause. I've got quite a strong head cold coming on, and I'm starting to feel a bit. When I'm focusing on something close up, it's making me feel a bit uneasy. So I think I'm just going to call it a day there, and I'll come back to the sculptor. I'll paint that up, and I'm probably going to pop that on my Instagram page. If you'd like to give me a follow there, that would be great. The link to my link tree will be in the description. So outside of that, guys, if you liked the video, please drop me a like. Thank you very much for watching. I've really appreciated it. For those of you who've subscribed, thank you very much. I've very recently surpassed 100 subscribers. I'm absolutely blown away. I only started this channel on the 16th of August, and it's now the 3rd or the 4th of October. Actually, no, the 5th. Sorry, it's the 5th of October. And honestly, over 100 subscribers by month 2, that's just amazing. That's really it makes me feel really good, and I'm just really thankful for you guys being around and watching these videos. So as for my learning point for this video, I think I'm going to be investing in some of the magnifying goggles or glasses, so I shall do a little bit of a product review on those when I do get them. So anyway, outside of that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Matt, this has been my beard, and have a great day. Catch you later.